Um, I'm Hartley. I'm a junior at Fairfield Ward High School. And like Robin said, I first got involved in Catwalk last year, and I'm really excited to be a captain this year. When I heard about Catwalk, I knew right away that I wanted to get involved. Like so many people in this room, breast cancer has had a direct impact on my life. My mother, Jen Curran, is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. She is one of the most influential people in my life. She has demonstrated great strength and courage through her battle with breast cancer to both myself, my brothers, and all of her friends and family who surrounded her during the time. She has shown me what it looks like to reach the light at the end of a tunnel, even if the journey is hard to get there. Throughout both experiences with breast cancer, she has shown me what it truly looks like to never give up. I cannot express the amount of love I have for my mother and the amount of knowledge I have gained from watching her fight her battle. I am pleased to introduce my mother, Jen Curran, and for you all to hear her story. What was it like in 2009 when you were first diagnosed with breast cancer? How did it feel?
When I first got the call, I felt sick to my stomach. But they just tell you that you have breast cancer. They don't tell you the extent of the cancer. So I was scared, but I wanted to wait until I heard from the doctor to find out, the extent of it. I felt scared, I guess.
So then, once you found out the extent, how did you feel after that?
I was nervous. I had young kids, so I was concerned about who was going to take care of them. I was concerned about how long I would miss work. They don't really tell you what's going to happen until after you have your surgery. So I had a surgery, and then they do biopsies from the surgery, and then you figure out what your treatment plan is. So.
And can you explain your recovery process for the 2009 experience?
So, sure. In 2009, I had a bilateral mastectomy. I took 6 weeks off from work and after surgery, and I went back to work, and I did not have to have chemotherapy or radiation. I had to see my oncologist 4 times a year, and I had to take a pill every day called tamoxifen.
How did it feel to be diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time in 2014?
That was very scary because it's never good when cancer comes back. And I was 5 years older, and it was the same type of cancer, and you never know whether it's going to spread to somewhere else in your body, and if they find it for a second time, it's a little unsettling.
Was it harder going through it the first time or the second time?
It was definitely harder the second time. The first time it wasn't as intense. It was scarier the first time because I had never been through it all, but the second time I had to go through chemotherapy and radiation, so it was a very long year. I had a number of surgeries, and it was definitely harder. I was on my own. My mom had passed away, and my father, so I didn't have any parent to help me, and I had 3 kids, and I was divorced, so I was kind of on my own.
Dr. Pronovost and Dr. Fishback and Dr. Ott discussed surgery, radiation, and chemo, all of which made my head spin. I was nervous, unsure how I was going to hold my job and support my children, as well as know how to deal with this next chapter of my life on my own. Fortunately for me, I have some truly amazing friends. Many of them are here tonight. 2 of my closest and dearest friends, Heidi Adair, who would be here, who would move heaven and earth to be here if she could, and Terry Maltow, volunteered to walk the walk with me. I didn't ask them. They each separately told me that they wanted to help me. They said they wanted to take time away from their families and their busy, extremely busy lives to be there for me every step of the way. They were my eyes and my ears. They held my hand, dried my tears, asked my questions, took notes. They came to every single appointment, every test, every scan, surgery, every treatment, everything. And they made me smile and laugh the entire time. I could not have done it without them. I am truly blessed and grateful to have them and all of my friends and family in my life.
Were there times when you lost hope?
No, I don't think I've ever lost hope. I've always been pretty positive. I mean, you always think in the back of your mind that you're not going to live very long, that you're going to get another, find something else or get a call that something else is wrong. That's always in the back of your mind.
But Heidi and Terry ran a tight ship and swiftly escorted me off to chemo. I was understandably anxious. My first chemo treatment should have taken about 2.5 hours in its entirety, but due to a number of unforeseen issues, it ended up taking over 7. I was hooked up and ready to go by 2:30. The staff was preparing for an office renovation, so despite the fact that they were very busy boxing everything up, they were still very attentive to me, which was important because within the first few minutes of the first chemo drug seeping into my veins, I felt awful. Thinking this was normal, I didn't say anything, but quickly my extremities became numb, my stomach hurt, I couldn't breathe well, couldn't speak. I did manage to say that I might throw up. My chest was tightening and I was rapidly burning up. Unbeknownst to me, I was having an allergic reaction to the drug Taxotere, and according to Heidi and Terry, I was turning the color of an Oompa Loompa. I started seeing stars when they shut off my IV and loaded me up with Benadryl. After about an hour, I had drained the Benadryl bag when they started me on an IV with a very slow drip of saline and Taxotere, and what should have taken an hour took more than 5, and I still had another drug to go. Throughout this experience, the staff at Norma Frame was amazing. They assured me that I was going to be fine and that they would stay with me until completion, despite it being a Friday night.
Sure, it definitely changed. I don't view things differently. Like, work is not as important to me as my family is, and spending time with friends and family, and just the little things like cleaning your house. Like, I'd rather go out with a friend for lunch than, clean the bathroom. It's just I used to focus on things like that, and now it's just not important.
How did it feel to find out you were in remission the second time?
The second time.
Or both, whichever.
Well, it felt great. But you just never know what's going to happen. They don't test you every year to clear you. So it's just something that's always in the back of your mind, that you always wonder, if you have an ache or a pain or something hurts or something's strange, you always think the worst. Until you figure out what it is. So and they don't even say that you're in remission. They just say, the oncologist says, we're done. Gives me a hug and a kiss and lets me go on my way. And hopefully I don't have to go back and see him. But if something comes up, you find something, then you have to go through the whole process again.
Where are you in your life today?
I'm in a good spot. I'm just turned 50. Hartley's going to college. I feel good. I try to exercise every day and stay in shape and take care of my diet, and I just try to keep going, keep a good outlook, and hope for the best.
Cancer challenges you to overcome obstacles you never imagined. It pushes you to the brink of existence. It forces you lower than you ever thought possible. Bald, sick, poisoned, mutilated, radiated. The Norma Frame Breast Center provides a multitude of resources to help women and men and their loved ones cope with these challenges and helps you move beyond them. To this day, the Norma Frame Center continues to provide me with programs that help restore my strength and ease my mind. Thank you.
Cancer cells are produced in 5 steps. They start off as a healthy cell. There is then damage to the DNA in the cell. The cell becomes mutated, and the mutated cell begins unchecked reproduction, which leads to a growth in mutated cells. On average, a woman is diagnosed with breast cancer every 2 minutes, and a woman will die of breast cancer every 13 minutes. It is the second leading cause of cancer death in women and the most common cancer among women worldwide, claiming the lives of hundreds of thousands of women each year and affecting countries at all levels of modernization. Almost 50% of breast cancer cases and 58% of deaths occur in less developed countries. Specifically in India, breast cancer is now the most common cancers found in most cities and the second most in rural areas.
Jaya Jaya He, Mahishasura Mardhini, Ramya Kapartini Shaila Sute. This is an ode to the Mother Goddess that most of us in India learn when we are children. I learned it when I was 4, at my mother's knee. That year, she introduced me to dance, and thus began my tryst with classical dance. Since then, it's been 4 decades now. I've trained with the best in the field, performed across the globe, taught young and old alike, created, collaborated, choreographed, and wove a rich tapestry of artistry, achievement, and awards. The crowning glory was in 2007 when I received this country's 4th highest civilian award, the Padma Shri, for my contribution to art. But nothing prepared me for what I was to hear on the 1st of July, 2008. I heard the word carcinoma. Yes, breast cancer. As I sat numbstruck in my doctor's office, I heard other words: cancer, stage, grade. Until then, cancer was the zodiac sign of my friend. Stage was what I performed on, and grades were what I got in school. That day, I realized I had an unwelcome, uninvited, new life partner. As a dancer, I know the 9 rasas or the Navarasas: anger, valor, disgust, humor, and fear. I thought I knew what fear was. That day, I learned what fear was. Overcome with the enormity of it all and the complete feeling of loss of control, I shed copious tears and asked my dear husband, Jayant. I said, is this it? Is this the end of the road? Is this the end of my dance? And he, the positive soul that he is, said, no, this is just a hiatus during the treatment, and you'll get back to doing what you do best. I realized then that I, who thought I had complete control of my life, had control of only 3 things: my thought, my mind, the images that these thoughts created, and the action that derived from it. So here I was, wallowing in a vortex of emotions and depression and what have you, with the enormity of the situation, wanting to go to a place of healing, health, and happiness. I wanted to go from where I was to where I wanted to be, for which I needed something. I needed something that will pull me out of all this. So I dried my tears and I declared to the world at large. I said, cancer is only 1 page in my life, and I will not allow this page to impact the rest of my life. I also declared to the world at large that I would ride it out, and I would not allow cancer to ride me. But to go from where I was to where I wanted to be, I needed something. I needed an anchor, an image, a peg to peg this process on so that I could go from there. And I found that in my dance. My dance, my strength, my energy, my passion, my very life breath. But it wasn't easy. Believe me, it definitely wasn't easy. How do you keep cheer when you go from beautiful to bald in 3 days? How do you not despair when, with the body ravaged by chemotherapy, climbing a mere flight of stairs was sheer torture? That too to someone like me who could dance for 3 hours. How do you not get overwhelmed by the despair and the misery of it all? All I wanted to do was curl up and weep. But I kept telling myself, fear and tears are options I did not have. So I would drag myself into my dance studio, body, mind, and spirit, every day into my dance studio, and learn everything I learned when I was 4, all over again, reworked, relearned, regrouped. It was excruciatingly painful, but I did it. Difficult. I focused on my mudras, on the imagery of my dance, on the poetry and the metaphor and the philosophy of the dance itself. And slowly I moved out of that miserable state of mind. But I needed something else. I needed something to go that extra mile. And I found it in that metaphor, which I had learned from my mother when I was 4. The metaphor of Mahishasuramardini, of Durga. Durga, the mother goddess, the fearless one, created by the pantheon of Hindu gods. Durga, resplendent, bedecked, beautiful, her 18 arms ready for warfare, as she rode astride her lion into the battlefield to destroy Mahisha. Durga, the epitome of creative feminine energy or Shakti. Durga, the fearless one. I made that image of Durga and her every attribute, her every nuance my very own. Powered by the symbology of a myth and the passion of my training, I brought laser-sharp focus into my dance. Laser-sharp focus to such an extent that I danced a few weeks after surgery. I danced through chemo and radiation cycles, much to the dismay of my oncologist. I danced between chemo and radiation cycles and badgered him to fit it to my performing dance schedule. What I had done is I had tuned out of cancer and tuned into my dance. Yes, cancer has just been one page in my life. My story is a story of overcoming setbacks, obstacles, and challenges that life throws at you. My story is the power of thought. My story is the power of choice. It's the power of focus. It's the power of bringing ourselves to the attention of something that so animates you, so moves you, that something even like cancer becomes insignificant. My story is the power of a metaphor. It's the power of an image. Mine was that of Durga. Durga, the fearless one. She was also called Simhanandini, the one who rode the lion. As I ride out, as I ride my own inner strength, my own inner resilience, armed as I am with what medication can provide and continued treatment, as I ride out into the battlefield of cancer, asking my rogue cells to behave, I want to be known as not a cancer survivor, but as a cancer conqueror. I present to you an excerpt of that work, Simhanandini.
Sannadham vividhayudhai parivritam prante kumare ganai jhaye deepsitadayinim triyanayanam trimhadhirudham sitam sankarishu dhanumshi charudadhatim chitrayudha जननीं चिच्छक्तिसन्धायिनीं सिंहानन्दिनी दिव्यनृत्यजननीं चिच्छक्तिसन्धायिनीं
dim dim da da gida dum daddo gida daga ditta sitta gida daga ditta daga daga gida daga dum dai dacham 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 gatim gatim dacham 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 gatim 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 da gida daga cham da gida da gida daga cham da cham 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 da gida daga cham da gida daga da gida daga dattam da gida daga darum da gida daga darum da gida daga dim da gida daga dim da gida daga darum da gida daga cham dim da gida daga cham da gida daga da gida daga da dim da daga dim da dim da daga dim da dim daga
ऐगिरि नन्दिनि नन्दितमेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दिनुते गिरिवरविन्द्य शिरोदिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेसिति कण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते या देवी सर्वभूतेषु विष्णुमायेति संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शान्तिरूपेण संस्थिता